Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry.
Hey!
And my little buddy is here too. And today we'll be looking at
Mr. Kongo.
Mr. Kongo. Kongo? I think that the second O is kind of long, so it's Kongo.
Kongo!
Sort of. Because she's been requested, she's Japanese, and we haven't really been talking about Japanese battleships a fair bit.
No.
So we'll start with the Kongo, because I really like the Kongo.
Why?
I'll tell you. But first, we're going to have a look at, well, what the real Kongo was. So, before I start, a huge thanks and shout out to Maritim, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from our channel, who's been collecting the history for the Kongo for me. And yeah, very well done. Great work. Thank you very much. So, the real Kongo. The Japanese before the First World War, were relatively successful. They were a new empire. They had defeated the Russian Empire at the sea, which was quite surprising for everybody because nobody expected that to happen. But then the British
They thought that they were winning.
Yeah,
but they thought that they were too OP.
But then the British built HMS Dreadnought. If you remember, we've been looking at the Dreadnought before, and the Dreadnought
So Dready is not.
Yeah, the Dreadnought was a very successful battleship, and she kind of made everything else obsolete. So you could say the Dreadnought. Yeah, the Dreadnought was quite OP in a way.
It's like overpowered. Like they built a lot of ships, and they built the Dreadnought, and then they're like, nope, we're not building all these ships. This ship is way too good. Everybody built that ship because it's too good.
Exactly.
We
So
need this.
the Japanese wanted one as well, but they needed some expertise. So they asked the British to make them one.
But aren't they on different teams?
Yeah, they weren't on different teams at the time. They were actually playing together at the time. So the British basically built them a battlecruiser, and that was the original HMS Kongo. Well, not HMS at the time because she was British, but she was called the Kongo and handed over to the Japanese.
Kongo. Everybody knows what that is.
And she was given. She was not really doing very much during the First World War, but after the First World War, she was improved in terms of armor.
In the Second World War?
She got a lot. We get to that. She got a lot more armor, and during the course of the Second World War, still got improved continuously and got made better, and eventually became a fast battleship. She made about 30 plus knots, which is
That's too fast.
Which is a hell of a lot more than what the American battleships were able to do at the time.
What kind of water propellers did they put on that ship? Did they put rockets?
Well, she was really meant to be a quick ship. And the Japanese have really used her to that effect. Because while most of the other battleships were relatively slow, this thing was very quick. So she could do things like escort duty. She could escort carriers because she could keep up with them. She did something really, really fascinating during one of the battles of Guadalcanal because...
That's why it's so OP. It has a lot of armor, it has a lot of guns, very good guns, and it's fast.
Well, it doesn't have all that much armor. It's still relatively poorly armored, but...
It's basically a cruiser battleship. Fast.
Sort of. You could say that.
So basically a heavy cruiser.
No, a fast battleship. So during the Battle of Guadalcanal, when the Japanese were trying to kick the Americans out again, they had one problem with one of the airfields. It was called Henderson Airfield, and that's where the Americans were launching air attacks from, and the Japanese were sailing reinforcements and trying to land them and trying to push the Americans out again. So one thing the Kongo was able to do, because she is so quick, was to get in, shell the airfield from a distance, and then get out again before the Americans were able to launch, an air attack and retaliate.
Oh, that it's basically like a destroyer, and it's like it's basically like destroyer. Destroyer goes to battleship, torps them, run.
Well, yeah, but minus the torps and all the bits.
Minus the torps, just the guns with guns now.
Yes, it was a bit of a hit and run, you could say. So
hit and run. Yeah.
That was quite successful. In the end, she was very lucky through most of the war. She was in many of the large battles, and she never really got hit very seriously. But in the end, she got found by a submarine. She was found by the USS Sea Lion, and the Sea Lion actually, I think, radared her from a distance and sent a bunch of torpedoes and hit her with 2 torpedoes, which gave her initially just a bit of a list, but eventually she turned over, and while they were trying to evacuate her, one of the magazines exploded, which means that, well, she broke in 2 and sunk, and most of the sailors died on the ship.
Did some get out?
I think some got rescued, but not too many.
Then it went kablooey.
Yes, she went kablooey pretty badly, you could say. So, which brings us back to the Kongo in the game at tier 5. She is very much a battlecruiser. She has a decent amount of hit points, but the armor is not the greatest. So you really have to watch out. You're definitely not as sturdy as, let's say, an American battleship. So if you at close, especially also at close ranges, you will get citadel pretty badly in this ship. On the flip side, she's very fast because she does 29 knots, which for a tier 5 battleship is really quick. And the way I've set her up, she is very reasonably maneuverable with a turn time of 12 seconds. The main guns are still the same 356 millimeters that the British had put on her. The armor-piercing damage is very good as well, but the penetration is not the greatest. So they are a bit more like the British guns, really, in that they are setting fires very nicely. Yes, true that. She has, in my setup, a very decent turret traverse speed, and that's because I play the ship, again, like a battlecruiser and a more maneuverable ship than you would normally have. The secondaries actually look very good on paper. There are 14 of them. There are 14 of them, and she has 152 millimeter secondaries. But the dispersion is absolutely dreadful.
What's a dispersion?
And like how far the shells are landing from each other. The dispersion is dreadful, so it's really difficult to hit anything with them. They have a very slow reload, and while they're doing a very good amount of damage, their angles are also not very good. So if you kind of look at it from the side, you cannot see. You cannot fire all of them unless you're giving complete perfect broadside.
You can't do if it's like one ship is at say you're at an angle to it, and then one ship is straight and you're at an angle to that ship, you won't be able to hit it. Well, you won't be able to fire all your secondaries because they come to the corner. The main guns are you've got two forward, 2 aft, 8 guns in total. So that's a reasonably good setup, and they have good angles on them as well. The AA is pretty respectable, because she was actually given a lot more anti-air defense during the course of the Second World War, because the Japanese had suffered a lot from American air attacks. Like the nukes. No, not against nukes. No, not against nukes. Just rockets.
Okay. For the elite bonus, we have 2 choices. I've actually gone with the main battery reload and the main battery traverse, because again, you're in tier 5. You're not really gonna be under air attack that much, and you don't have that much AA on the ship either, so it doesn't make that huge of a difference. Torpedo damage reduction also wouldn't do much because you don't have much to begin with. So you do have to be a bit careful with the ship. In return, she's fast and maneuverable, and that's my kind of setup. I have, in terms of modules, I have the main battery mod 1. For better turret traverse, I've experimented a bit with the secondary bat mod, but the problem, again, while it increases the reload, it's really actually really hard to hit anything with them. So unless you get the precision a bit up, maybe with the captain skill, this might be a viable thing.
Two perks for your main units. Wow, that's how much you needed.
The second slot I have in the propulsion modification. Yes, because again, I'm playing this more like a battle cruiser than an actual battleship. And the third slot I have in a steering gear, so I get better maneuverability. In terms of captain skills, he's still being retrained, so he currently only has the basic skills. But you definitely want to have the marksman, because you do have two You do have 2 consumables of the precise aiming, and you need that because the guns
What is precise aiming?
The precise aiming skill, I'll show you. The precise aiming skill here.
Because I what?
The precise aiming skill improves your gun accuracy by 25%, which is good at long range because the guns are not the most accurate to begin with. Not like later Japanese guns.
Not later.
You could go with fire supremacy to get another precise aiming. Because you only get 2.
You get more fire.
Yeah, but
More boom. More boom.
The survivalist is also a very good skill because again I am brawling in the ship quite a bit more than you would usually do, and she's not the most sturdy out there. The close quarters combat expert might actually not be a bad choice to get a better dispersion on the secondaries, but I haven't tried this out, so don't take my word for it. Anyway, let's go and play a battle.
Alright, it's battle time.
Alright, here we go. We're playing Scorching Islands. There is a Texas on the enemy team. Very dangerous American battleship. And we've got 3 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 2 destroyers. We're top tier. So very good mix, not too heavy on anything. Now, in a normal Japanese battleship, I would take a more defensive position. Probably somewhere around the center island or close to the center island, just at the edge of our cap circle. But in the Kongo, because she is very, very quick, and the guns are not the most accurate at range and also not the most punchy, I am actually going on the side here because I've got a V170 with us and there's a cruiser of some sort next to us as well. So there's a Svetlana. So we're a neat little task force of sorts. Now that island there, something's going to come around that island. I can almost guarantee you that. And let's see, we're not yet spotted.
Not yet spotted.
Not yet spotted, but where are we going to? There we are. Now we're spotted. So there's a destroyer probably, or one of the cruisers out there. Because I'm pretty sure, oh, there's the other battleship, so that wasn't the one spotting me. There's a Wyoming. I'm not going to use the precise aiming quite yet on the Wyoming. Because it's too long range, my guns are not super punchy and it's not a great angle.
3.
Okay, that just bounced off. So, like I said, they're not super hard hitting at longer range. But there's a Marblehead. And that Marblehead is very dangerous towards our destroyer. So if he comes around, he gets a surprise. There he is. And there we go.
Surprise!
Okay, that was a bit too far forward, otherwise I would have probably scored a citadel. Now I'm putting her in reverse, and you see the secondaries, they're not the most precise. I'm putting her in reverse because they're probably torpedoes out. Okay, a couple more secondary hits, there come the torps.
They're coming.
And main guns again. Can we get a citadel? Nope. A couple overpens, but there come the torps, yeah, as predicted. So I'm just going to dodge these, and it looks like the Marblehead's going to eat all the torps. Okay. Yeah, om nom. There she goes. Yeah. Alright, that's the cruiser down. We've got a Wyoming and a T-22 over there. So Wyoming's the next target. He seems to be busy shooting at other things. Now our team is... Oh nice. Citadel in the Wyoming through the deck armor. And our team seems to be at lemming training a little bit. So we're hitting extremely hard on this side.
Your team is what?
Lemming training.
What's lemming training?
That means they're all following me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's the T-22 on the other side, but I want this Wyoming dead if I can. I know the T-22 is probably going to get torps out at me. Yep, there goes the torps, but I think these are either not meant for me or they're going to be too slow. I think he was in a dogfight with the V170. Okay, so the destroyer is out of range first, but something is capping us. So we need to do something. Oh, there's a Phoenix. Priority target, light cruiser. And just waiting for him to straighten out. Okay, for 5 kilometer, perfect range.
Boom, boom, boom.
And there goes the Citadel. And it should be almost in secondary range probably.
Good job,
but
Citadels.
the T-22 is very close. Now the T-22 and the Phoenix are chasing our V170. So I'm going to try and take out the Phoenix first, because he's more dangerous towards our destroyer. And secondaries on the destroyer, main guns on the Phoenix, switch over to high explosive. Okay, there come the Phoenix. These are probably Phoenix torps. So I'm in reverse. Yeah, not damage controlling yet because there are more torpedoes coming. Okay, there comes the T-22 torps. And I'm just going to turn and see how many I can dodge. I think I'm going to take one. Yeah, that's one torp. But only one, not more. And now he's trying...
That T-22 is dead.
Yeah, he has to die now very quickly. Okay, there she
He's dead.
goes. The V170 takes him out. See, that's why I was trying to kill that cruiser, so our destroyer could survive and could help me out. Okay, we've cleared this flank up. Now,
teamwork.
exactly. Now, two of our ships are back in our cup. So it's a cruiser and a battleship back, and there's a battleship and a destroyer over there. So I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go with the rest of them here and try to clear out the Texas. Because...
Camping Texas at their base.
Yeah, the Texas is base camping. I don't think he's AFK. I'm using the...
He's not AFK, definitely. This is like some destroyers torping.
Yeah, he seems to have either moved or they've completely missed. But I'm using the high explosive because the... oh, there, he's moving forward. I'm using the high explosive because at this range, I'm not gonna get much damage done against the Texas. I want this ship out of the way so we can cap just in case we're going to lose our cap circle. Okay, there's going one torp on the Texas, I think, and these V170 torps should hit her. She's flooding.
Okay, that Texas is
donk, donk, donk.
almost gonna. Yes.
Okay.
Almost.
I'm not gonna kill steal that. Yeah, she's flooding out. The destroyer's got her. It deserves the kill. Well done. So that leaves only that one battleship back there, and we are still in 10,000 health. So
we're gonna win this one.
Yes, this is a bit of a ruffle stomp, really. Okay, the Corvette takes out the Danae. Yeah, that's a good username. Error 404. User not found. But we're gonna cap. And again, this is something you can totally do in the Congo. You can cap. Because this thing is seriously quick. She does over 30 knots. And there are two ships back there. We've won this. There's no way the Corvette is going to cap us out. Let's actually see if we can manage to cap this before the Corvette dies. So we can actually still get a capture point in the Congo.
Oh yeah, boy.
But that's something you can totally do in the Congo. So she can brawl. But you do have to watch out, especially at close range. Watch out with the guns. You have to be a bit more selective. No, there goes the Corvette. So close. But with the guns, you have to be a bit more selective because the 356's armor piercing are a bit more like the British armor piercing, really. So oftentimes you want to use the high explosive, and the armor piercing is more suited if you've got good shots and good angles. But high explosive on this is
a lot of damage.
Well, if you're talking about, that's not that bad. I'd say that's not terrible. I mean, there wasn't much left in here to damage. She's a good ship. I really like the Congo because she totally matches my playstyle. Yeah, I know you don't have this one because you've been playing up the American tech tree more. Yeah. But she's a good ship. She totally matches my playstyle. And she's fast. She's reasonably sturdy. The guns are fun. But it's the speed and the maneuverability that makes it for me. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks everybody, and we'll be sure to be featuring some more Japanese battleships in the future.
In the future, not too far in the future.
Okay. See you everybody. Bye.
Bye.